These images are the first sign of a possible break in the case.
Good.
Let's get to ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky. Aaron, what do we know about these images so far?
They appear to come from the doorbell camera here at Nancy Guthrie's home that had been tampered with, according to the FBI. And if you look at these images that appear in black and white, Diane, you see an individual who appears to be wearing a backpack and a mask and gloves.
So, guys, we already know that the Guthrie family did not pay the ransom for Miss Nancy Guthrie. Those of you who are not familiar with the case, Savannah Guthrie is a news anchor on the Today Show, and her mother has been missing. Guys, this is day 10. This is getting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? She has been missing. Evidently, she was taken against her will from her home in Tucson, Arizona. The ransom was supposed to be paid yesterday, and those of you who have been following the case, guys, the Guthrie family did not pay it. I don't know if the ransom people or person did not come and get the money, or the money was never there for them to get, or whatever the case may be. I understand that they wanted that money in Bitcoin. However, the Guthrie family did not pay the ransom. And the longer we wait, guys, this is about to get real cray-cray. It's about to get real dangerous for Nancy Guthrie if she is still alive. I want you to go ahead and put it in the comments, guys, if you believe that Nancy Guthrie is still alive or not. Now, there was some speculation that Annie, who is the oldest daughter of Nancy, that her husband, there was a great possibility that he might have been involved. And if that's the case, guys, that is sad. You can't get no sadder than that, okay? I cannot foresee being married to somebody is a great possibility. He might have helped kidnap my mother or unalive my mother. Guys, I'll be freaking fire. You hear me? I would be on fire. My draws would be lit, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, but anyway, there's a great possibility that he might have been involved. The husband of Annie Guthrie, who was the oldest daughter of Nancy and who's the oldest sister of Savannah. Guys, this is getting weird.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we
sad
enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I.
Unbelievable, man.
And that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where.
Sad.
And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation.
Heartbreaking.
And we need your help. We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Breaking news, Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, missing day 9. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories.
So, guys, this is actually day 10. This is day 10, okay? If this was my mother, guys, I would be on freaking edge. I'm just going to let you know that right now. This is day 10. The longer we wait, I do not think the outcome is going to be favorable. This is crazy. And I shouldn't say the longer we wait like this is my mother, but I feel like, guys, I mean, my mother is close to almost 80 years old. This is weird. I feel for the family, and I really feel for the family if Annie, the older sister's husband, had something to do with this, allegedly. Guys, the views expressed in my videos are my views and my views alone. These are my opinions, guys. Take it or leave it. Do whatever the hell you want to do with it. Okay? Guys, everybody that I talk about in my videos are presumed innocent until those mofos are found guilty. My videos are for educational purposes. These videos that I create, guys, are for adults. On occasion, there is going to be some profanity up in this camp. Okay? Guys, they are not for kiddos. They're for adults. Please make sure, go ahead and like, comment, and share, and subscribe to this particular video and this particular YouTube channel, guys. I would greatly appreciate it. To the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Thank you for being with us. Let's take a listen to Savannah's recent plea one more time.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
Return her, please.
This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Joining me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we are learning right now, Dave Mack joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Dave, I'm hanging on one word because at first I was thrown off horribly when I heard celebrate. I thought celebration.
Don't get ignorant.
Celebration of life. Does Savannah
Nancy,
know
don't get
her mother
ignorant.
has passed on? No, it was celebrate with her, to suggest Savannah believes her mother can come home and they can celebrate that homecoming with her. Tell me about this most recent plea, Dave Mack.
Nancy, your friend Savannah Guthrie issuing this plea earlier on Instagram saying we are at our hour of desperation is something that none of us thought we would get to. But here we are waiting for somebody to say something. And that's all Savannah Guthrie is asking for her family. Somebody knows something. Somebody say something, please. She's saying in that video, we need your help.
Another issue that has been brought up is Savannah says, I got your message. Let's play it one more time.
Oh,
we received your message.
Not again, Nancy. Jesus Christ.
We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace.
Wow.
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
I'm just telling you right now to Janine Driver joining us, body language expert, CEO of the Body Language Institute. She's a New York Times best-selling author of You Say More Than You Think and You Can't Lie to Me. She is the star of a hit podcast, In the Driver's Seat with Janine Driver. Janine, I know Savannah, and that is not Savannah's vernacular. That is not how she speaks. And she can ad lib all day. She doesn't need a script. You know, a lot of talking heads. If you take away their...
And you know what, guys? I said this in other videos. This lady seems so sweet. If this is all about money, I'm sure if whoever got her, if they would have asked her for the money, it's a great possibility she would have gave it to them. Maybe not to the tune of $1 million to $6 million. But she seems so sweet that I'm sure. I mean, Savannah, guys, if you look at her on the Today Show, she's sweet as apple pie. I don't know her personally, but she's sweet as apple pie. So, you know, that apple can't fall too far from the doggone tree. If whoever had her would have probably asked her for a couple of dollars, they probably would have got it. Not millions of dollars, I'm sure. But this is weird. This is really weird, and I feel sad. Guys, this is day 10. Day 10. They went searching through all out her neighborhood. They was on the roof of her house. They were all in manholes looking for her. It's hot as heck there, guys. I used to live there. I used to live in Mesa, Arizona. It's hot than a mofo out there. Okay? She could not survive in the elements out there if her body is out there. She wouldn't be able to survive, guys. The heat is horrendous. And then her daughter, Annie, who just lives 11 miles away, they were all in her house, searching her house, bringing out bags of what appears to be evidence. This is weird.
Script, they're like, the what? What now? What am I supposed to say something? That's not her. She's a lawyer by training. So if you noticed, at one point she glanced down, she paused and glanced down and looked up and continued. My point is, this is a script.
Break it down.
It has been created between her brother and sister, and law enforcement, because for her to say, this is valuable to us. What does that even mean? But she's hitting on key words and phraseology that means something.
They want their mama back.
This is what's a lot. You're smart as a cookie here, Nancy. I have been interviewed by Savannah numerous times on the Today Show, at least 10 or 11, 12 times. And I agree. She is smart. She's quick. Even when the cameras are off, she is connected. She's in the here and now. The word she's using there when she's pausing is understand. There's something in law enforcement and in sales called embedded commands. Embedded commands are words we use that get to other people's subconscious. Hey, Fred Rogers did this when he went up on the hill to try to get $25 million for PBS. He told a story, a song that gave embedded commands to Senator Pastore, and he walked out with that money. Embedded commands are messages, and we pause before and after. The words we're hearing Savannah do before and after these pauses: beg, celebrate, peace, valuable, we will pay. We understand is really maybe a potential message to the captors. Understand, we are listening. Listen, here's the deal. It's called compliance psychology.
Break it down,
Captors who see hostages as valuable to future emotional moments are less likely to harm them. So that's why we get that word celebrate, right? It's the safest message to the captors. These embedded.
It don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. You do not want to piss off who is ever holding your mother hostage. That you don't want to do. Okay? They already didn't pay the money, even though they said they would. I don't know what the heck happened, but the money was not paid. We were down to the final couple of minutes on yesterday, and the money wasn't paid. This is getting strange.
Commands happen, and she is smart. She's leaning forward, which is called the sprinter's pose. It says, I am paying attention. This is not how she would normally be on the Today Show. She'd be sitting up and composed. This is strategic. They are talking directly to the captors.
Joining us now, Brian Fitzgibbons, Director Operations, USPA Nationwide Security.
Break it down.
He leads a team of investigators around the world looking for missing people. Brian, question. We know that the law enforcement went back to not only Nancy's home, Nancy Guthrie, who is missing, but her daughter Annie's home. But I want to go back to Nancy's home before I move on to daughter Annie's home. We also know that they searched a septic tank in Nancy Guthrie's backyard. Now, for city dwellers that have, as we call it, city water, I grew up hearing, we don't have city water. City water and city septic go together, and that means that your local municipality pipes in your water, your fluoridated water, and handles your septic. Out in the country or remote areas, you're not on city water. You have a septic tank in the backyard. So let's see that footage or photos of LE law enforcement looking in the septic tank. What are you seeing, Brian Fitzgibbons?
Horrible.
Yeah, so this is attached to the septic system.
Could you imagine they looking for your mama in the damn septic tank? This is weird. This has to be heartbreaking. There's a great possibility that your mama could be down there. Weird.
To Nancy's house. And what you see here are a couple investigators. He's got a rather long pole, which probably has some kind of device to illuminate what's down there on the end of it. And what I read into this, Nancy, is, now that the FBI has taken over this case, you have more resources. You have combined very high IQ in that room with a ton of experience, and they're crossing off every single thing that needs to be done and needs to be ruled out.
Good.
So, those agents have said, this is on the list of things to do. We need to check this. And with the advanced support and more resources, they're checking every single box here.
It could be Brian Fitzgibbons, who I might add is a former Marine and Iraqi war vet.
Break it down.
This video is from our
Thank
friends
you
at
for your
Fox News
service.
Flight Team. Thank you, Flight Team. I think it's two things again. One, either they got intel that they need to go search the septic tank, which is not good. Or two, in the midst of the investigation, when they're retracing everything they've already done, they get word, hey, she's got a septic tank. Have you searched it? And they're like, ruh-roh. And go back out and search.
Nancy's a fool sometimes.
The pole that we are seeing them use, you stated it may have a light on the end of it. What about a camera? Do you believe there could be a camera fixed on there?
It better be.
He actually, in the video that I saw, he actually had two separate devices that went down in there. One might have been more to probe inside of that.
Okay, I don't know how asinine that would be to just have a freaking pole and you jabbing around down there. Of course, I shouldn't say of course, guys, that's an assumption. But they should have a damn camera. You ain't gonna just go down there and jabbing around. That makes no damn sense. That's cuckoo.
Tank, and then another smaller one to illuminate or use a camera. I couldn't tell you exactly.
I hope so. That's weird
what
if you don't.
happened there, but what
Looks
I will
like
say
he's looking around down in there right now. The video we're showing, Brian, I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like they have a way to look down in there. Of course, they had to be looking just to double check that there's not a body there.
Exactly.
But also, I've had
AKA
people,
Nancy.
interested viewers writing in on Insta, Facebook, Twitter, stating that it should be searched in case the perp flushed something down the commode. Evidence, a knife, I don't know. It could be anything.
Horrible.
And it's possible. So they were doing their due diligence. That's how I see it. I did not see them take anything out of the septic tank.
Yeah, I did not see that either. And I agree that this is a case that, with these advanced resources and, a ready supply of federal aid.
And evidently, guys, they got a tip from a neighbor that there was something on the roof. Evidently, some type of small camera, whatever the case may be. Nancy Guthrie had recently had her roof refinished. So when you see pictures of her home, the drones, you will see all of her other neighbors. The roof is not quite as crispy white as Nancy's roof is. Now, guys, I own several mobile homes, and I know if you do not seal that roof, then it has a tendency, when that heat comes in from the freaking sun, that heat comes through that mobile home. And it's hard to cool the home off. So I'm sure the same thing is true when we're talking about a single family home. And since we're on the single family home business, I had always thought, because Nancy Guthrie's house was big as shit. That thing was big. I had always thought that Savannah bought that house for Nancy, but nothing is furthest from the truth. When Miss Nancy was married, her husband died years ago. When she was married, she bought that home in 1975 for roughly about $85,000. Now, I'm sure since then, Savannah probably has helped her upgrade it, because the house is a monster. It's a beast. And Miss Nancy and her husband raised their 3 children in that home. So at the time when she bought the house, it was $85,000 back in 1975. She has lived in that home for 50-something years. And people are saying, well, why wasn't the security camera on? This, that, and the third, blah, blah. The lady felt safe there. She lived there for 50 years. Nothing like this has ever happened to her. So she did have cameras, but she did not keep her subscription up to date. And this is the main reason why we're in this situation right now, because we cannot see who went back to the home and allegedly abducted her. Okay, this is sad. She went out to eat with her family. She met her family at one of their homes, and I'm believing it was Annie's home that she was at, or she was at a function, and Annie, who was the oldest daughter, and the husband were there. And then she went there by Uber. That's another strange thing. Come on, Savannah, you got money. Your mother's taking a freaking Uber. That's weird. Anyway, she did go get in an Uber, and then she was brought back by Annie's husband, her oldest daughter's husband. She was brought back by her son-in-law. The garage opened. It closed. That's the way evidently she gets into her house. Same thing that I freaking do. I go into my garage. I don't go into the front door or the back door. The whole thing in a nutshell. Did the son-in-law, did he ever leave? That's the whole thing in a nutshell. We don't know. Did he ever leave? Did he ever make it back to his home where Annie lives, where his wife lives? We don't know. This is strange.
Agents, they are going to make sure that no stone is left unturned at that crime scene.
84 for what?
And of course, dogs were brought out at the get-go, and I imagine they were scent dogs and cadaver dogs. If a body had been put in the septic tank, the cadaver dog would have gone straight to
Boom.
it. So
They
I think
didn't.
at the very beginning, we had an indication there was not a body in the septic tank. So in this particular case, a lot of theories are out there.
Exactly.
That,
Nobody
let's just
knows.
see what's one of them. Well, a lot are focused on the family. Janine Driver, who is a renowned body language expert,
Break it down, girl.
CEO of the Body Language Institute and New York Times bestseller. I've looked at the three siblings, Annie, Savannah, Cameron.
Boom.
I've heard Savannah speak and Cameron speak. Have not heard Annie speak, begging for the return of their mother. And I find it very hard to believe that they would look in the
Okay. Annie, who's the older sister, she did say a little something, something. Okay, she did say a little something, something. Matter of fact, she seemed like she was more tearful than the other two. Okay, allegedly, there's a great possibility that Annie's husband might have had something to do with the unaliving. And I shouldn't say unaliving, guys. Oh my God. Guys, erase that. I take that back. There's a great possibility that Annie's husband, and guys, please, I take that back. I did not mean to say that. But anyway, there's a great possibility that Annie's husband, who is Nancy's oldest daughter, her husband, might have had something to do with the kidnapping of Nancy. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. Okay, so for Nancy to sit up here and say that she didn't say anything, she did. She did say something, guys. And I'll be the first one to tell you, she seems like she was more tearful than Savannah and then Savannah's brother, in my opinion. Guys, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe to this particular video, this particular YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and click that damn notification bell, guys, so when I get on this mofo, you will know. Okay, you will get a notification. But she did. Come on, Nancy, stop playing games. Now, you know that girl said something. This is weird. The whole thing in a nutshell, and I've said this in other videos, that Nancy only lived 11 minutes away from her oldest daughter, Annie, and Annie's husband. Okay, Annie's husband and Annie, they don't have like the greatest of jobs. I don't understand, how can you live 11 minutes away unless Savannah is helping y'all out some kind of way? Because from what I understand, the husband is a school teacher, and in that area, guys, I Googled that shit, and he only makes like $60,000 a year. Okay, so how can you afford to even live in close proximity of Nancy when Nancy's house is over a million and so dollars? I don't get that. That's weird to me, but maybe Savannah is helping them out. Who knows?
camera and beg for information, beg for the return of their
That's
mother.
their mama. They
if
want her
they
back.
knew who the perp is, i.e., a relative, someone close to them,
Savannah,
or an extended relative.
Okay, let's check
I
it
don't
out.
know that
Okay, let's check this out. In all fairness, let's just check this out. Even though, guys, it's my belief, I don't know. Maybe the brother-in-law might have had something to do with it. The son-in-law might have had something to do with it, guys. But let's check it out. It looks like we're looking right here at Annie with glasses on. She looks upset to me. Fuck. She looks upset to me. Put it in the comments. Does she look upset to you, or is she faking the funk? I don't know. She looks upset to me. But if she has nothing to do with her mom's kidnapping and it was just her husband, allegedly, guys, I know she's going to be up to the set, upset.
I mean, they, to me, and I'm certainly no acting judge, but I believe they're for real. I don't think
It
that
looked
they
like it's
secretly
real.
know, quote, who did it.
Real deal Holyfield up in that
I
camp.
agree with you, Nancy. A lot of people have written to me and said Annie, who's Savannah's sister, looks like she's different than the brother,
Upset.
Cameron and Savannah. Her affect may be coming out differently. I've seen social media TikToks where they zoom in on her face. Here's the problem, I think, with social media and the untrained eye is that we have a grief script of what we see in the media. Listen, we're not seeing the initial impact of when their mother was first gone. I think it's unlikely if Annie was involved, if
They
she knew
look
about
tired,
what
all
happened,
three of
that
them.
would see her on here. We would hear something like, Annie is too grieving. She was really close to mom, so she can't come on camera. We're seeing her there. Her affect, I wrote down some of the
It
information
looked real
here,
to me.
is the calmer the face, the louder the body's happening. Her face, Annie, flattened affect, lip compression, minimal cheek movement. This is someone holding the line so she doesn't fall apart. Now let's talk about Savannah's body language.
Break it down.
Savannah, in both, after the first ransom letter and the second, we see her leaning forward in this pose. And this leaning.
And the brother plain looked like he could rip somebody's damn head off at this point because he want to know where his mommy is. That's what the brother looked like. He looks like, let me have 5 minutes alone with whoever did this to my mom, and it's about to be on and popcorn up in there. That's what it looked like.
Forward pose is, we see it with usually the matriarch of the family. The daughter, I'm the oldest of 3, so I always am the one that was jumping out helping my mom at any time. This is the person that's like, hey, I want to fight. I'm the caregiver here. I want to restore safety. And you'll often see them leaning forward. It's that maternal wiring, that's this vulnerability effect.
They look concerned.
I'm connected, I matter.
It seems Nancy Guthrie is still alive. That
Really?
is at least what Savannah Guthrie seems to be
Of course.
telegraphing
That's her mama.
in her latest Instagram post. She says she, meaning Nancy, is feeling these prayers. So she believes Nancy is still out there. And the other...
Guys, go ahead and put it in the comments. Do you think that Miss Nancy is still alive? Okay. I would never think that Savannah would sit up here and say, oh no, my mother is not alive anymore. You know, guys, we are on the outside looking in. This is day 10. That is a long time to be without medication. And I am hoping that if it was an inside job, this fool would have enough sense, whoever this fool is, would have enough sense to stockpile her medications in order that she would have some while they had her in captivity. I hope you wouldn't be that big of a dumb booty not to have her medication, because the likelihood of her surviving without what is supposed to be these crucial medications is going to be slim to none. So I don't expect Savannah and her brothers and sisters to believe anything different than their mother's alive. But guys, we going on day 10 up in this camp. Day 10. Guys, go ahead and put it in the comments whether or not you believe Miss Nancy is still alive or not. This is cray-cray.
Other thing that seems clear is they have reached a dead end with whoever took her mother. She says that we believe our mom is out there. We need your help. This is Monday. And the deadline is today at 5 o'clock Tucson time.
This is Tuesday, guys.
The kidnappers made it very clear in the first ransom note, which we received, the situation is dire if they are true to their words.
And why in thy double hell is the ransom note being sent to TMZ? Okay, it seems like the person or persons that have her wouldn't want the media involved. That's some dumb shit. Okay, it seems like you would want to keep this on the low. Why are you contacting TMZ? You know they can't hold water, whether it's true or not. They can't hold water to save their damn lives. Why would you be sending a ransom note to TMZ instead of sending it to the family? That's weird.
They don't get that ransom money. at 5 o'clock today, Tucson time.
Well, they didn't get
We
it.
have checked the
Now
Bitcoin
what?
address, and you can see what's deposited. As of this moment, the $6 million ransom has not been deposited. Something has happened where they are at a stalemate. Because if you remember over the
Look here, I don't know a lot about Bitcoin, to tell you the truth. I don't. But what I understand, that shit is plummeting. So I don't even know why you would want to even get paid in Bitcoin. This shit is weird. And I don't even know, how are you tracking Bitcoin? I don't understand it, guys. I'm thinking like, like a bank account. Okay, you guys can't track my bank account. So how is it they're able to see if this $6 million was paid in Bitcoin? This whole Bitcoin shit is weird to me. I do not understand it. But evidently they know what the hell they're talking about, because the $6 million was not paid. Now, initially, it was $1 million, and then they went up to $6 million. And then, guys, they had like 2 separate deadlines. The ransom people did. And then, guys, we already know that we had an idiot that got up here and made a fake ransom note, and I hope he is sitting under the jail. Okay, because police don't have time to play games with you, sir. Okay, presenting this half-baked bullshit to this family when they are trying to get to the bottom of where the hell their mother is. This is weird.
The weekend, Savannah said, we are ready to pay. And the money isn't there. There is some reason, obviously, as to why they haven't. And it just seems like Savannah is throwing her hands up, saying law enforcement is doing everything they possibly can, but she is begging for the help of anybody, no matter how far away,
break it
for
down.
anything that could be a clue. The kidnappers, as far as we know, have not shown proof of life. Now, we have only seen the first ransom note, not the second. The second was sent to a local Phoenix television station.
Why are
But
they
it
doing that? That's
seems
weird.
That the kidnappers have not done anything concrete, although there is something really interesting
Break it down.
in the message Savannah left over the weekend when she said, "We understand," referring to that first note. So there is something that the kidnappers said or demanded that Savannah is acknowledging. And then to me, the key word in that Instagram post over the weekend is the word celebrate. What did Savannah mean to say, we want to celebrate with?
Okay, they want to celebrate when their mom get returned. How about that? Celebrate. What does celebrate mean? Guys, you get weird. Sometimes y'all get weird when you get on here. They're celebrating the return of their mama. Damn. It don't take a damn rocket scientist to figure that out. Y'all get weird sometimes.
Our mother. It's an odd phrase to use in the middle of all of this. And the only thing I can think of is that word may well have been used in that second ransom note. I don't know, because we haven't received the second, but the word is so out of context that I think it's reasonable to at least guess that word was used in that second note. Now, she says, our mom has been taken and we don't know where. So she is kind of acknowledging that. And as we told you last Friday, that the way the ransom note, and we'll be a little bit descriptive now, the way the ransom note is worded, that they say, we will bring your mother back to Tucson, meaning they're not in Tucson right now, if you believe them and take them at their word. We will bring her back to Tucson within 12 hours of the time that we receive the money. Well, if you take 12 hours and then you multiply it by 60 miles an hour, it gives you about a 700-mile radius around Tucson. And so it's basically the Western United States.
Dude is weird,
if
man.
you take them at their word that they would be within the confines of that 700-mile radius. Personally, I think that there is a good chance that they are way closer. And the reason I say that is there is a connection between this kidnapper and the Tucson television market, which is a much smaller radius than 700 miles. This person who wrote it has some connection to Tucson, because the first ransom note was sent to 2 local television stations there. In addition to us, the second ransom note sent to KOLD.
Okay, that makes no sense. And he's starting to ramble, starting to bore my ass. Anyway, that's the whole thing in a nutshell. Why are you contacting social media, TMZ, these news stations, this, that, and the third? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Okay. And another thing is, guys, and I'm sure they have already been doing this, but I haven't heard too much about it. In her neighborhood, in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood, they said everybody and their mama had a damn camera. So where is the camera footage? Even though those houses are far apart, these people were sitting on acreage. Okay. Where's the camera footage of a car possibly coming and going and leaving that neighborhood? Okay. Around those specific times when the camera was being deactivated, when the pacemaker was being deactivated, because nobody just walking on her property like that. She's on acres. Nobody's walking on the property like that. So where's the camera footage? Where's the camera footage of this vehicle leaving and entering that neighborhood? That's what's weird. That is weird to me. I do not understand why there is no camera footage of that. Yes, Mrs. Nancy's subscription was not activated, and it did not capture who was ever walking around her home at that time of morning, because she did not have a subscription, and evidently it did not go to the cloud. Okay. But I can kind of understand. Shit, she been there 50 years. Ain't shit happened since. Why would she think anything would happen now? That is crazy. But I still say that house is big than a mofo. Why is she there, living there by herself? That's weird. And I'm still going to stick to my thought, guys. It's a great possibility that this was an inside job, whether it be one of her children. I'm praying that's not the case, or whether it be the son-in-law. I'm praying that's not the case, or whether it be, maybe it's the pool boy. Okay. Maybe it's the yard guy. Okay. Maybe it's one of the contractors who was remodeling the house. Okay. Maybe it was the roofer who just, redid the roof. We don't know. We don't know, but this whole situation is sad.
Which is one of those 2 television stations in Tucson. So whoever wrote this has some connection. Remember, if this were just somebody who saw Savannah Guthrie on TV and said, here's what we're going to do, they probably would have sent it to NBC News, where Savannah works.
Why are you sending it
this
there
is somebody
at all?
Connected to Tucson. And it just feels like it's somebody who either knew Nancy or knew of Nancy, that she had a famous daughter.
Point something out to you. This is all based on not only my experience in 10 years in prison, being in a very confined space with lots of inmates where you always have to threat assess and assess whether someone is lying or being genuine or truthful or inauthentic. And just everything I've learned, on top of spending most of 2024 as well as all of 2025 taking multiple courses and getting certified in body language analysis.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now.
Already you can see, and she continues doing this the entire time she's talking almost, just this rapid blinking of her eyes, rapid eye blinking, which is usually indicating they're under a lot of stress.
Hell to the yeah.
Thinking about what they're saying. As they're saying it, it's something that really causes them a lot of stress and anxiety. Just overall a nonverbal cue of discomfort, which makes total sense here for her.
Return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace.
Now, see, when she says that sentence specifically, she's doing a pretty rapid side-to-side head shake, followed by a downward tilt of the head and looking down.
What that mean?
Usually what that means is there's a severe disappointment in just what is being said, who it's being said to, and almost an unwillingness to even look at or address this other person, which also totally makes sense. And I could absolutely see why she feels that way.
The brother looked pissed.
We received your message and we understand.
Now you see already Cameron Guthrie, he's the older brother of the siblings, all these siblings here, 2 sisters and a brother. Big brother looks like a pretty, for his age, fit, capable, in shape guy. And look at the contrast of these 3 expressions. I see bravery and the willingness to speak out, as well as concern and even a little fear on Savannah Guthrie's face.
They
we
mama
look
go.
at Annie Guthrie. Honestly, we'll get to her in a little bit. But you look at him, my goodness, there is no BS behind that expression. He's not happy about this. He's not happy about what's happened to his mother. He's not happy about what his sister is going through. He's holding her hand. He's at direct eye contact with this camera lens. Just to start off, this is the first 1 second
Can rip your head
of
off.
the video. There is contempt.
Where's my mama?
That is, in my opinion, having been around a lot of men in prison.
Don't bring your shit out.
Exhibit the capability
Don't bring
of
your shit
protecting and defending
Let's stay focused.
either themselves or just something or someone they care about. That is the look of a man who is angry that he is not able to do something about this, because he absolutely would. And I know all the men out there watching recognize that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at him.
He pissed.
That man is ready, and he just needs any avenue to go down.
Boom.
And that's just in the first second. Let's keep watching.
Your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return.
See this unchanging. It's just a few blinks, but just unchanging expression. He has a lot of thoughts in the back of his mind that are very different from these 2 girls right here.
Our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
Hurry up now.
This is the only way we will have peace.
And you see the long extension of him just
Take your time, but
closing
hurry
his
the fuck
eyes / just looking down.
Take your time.
Usually people close their eyes when they say or hear something they don't like or makes them uncomfortable. And in this case, I think it's most likely that we hear the pleas. There's almost a submission to the kidnappers with this whole ransom situation for their mother back. And him in his mind, it eats him up.
Rambling.
Because this is not a man who wants to submit, but this is a man who understands
that already.
That may just have to be necessary, because ultimately what matters is getting mom home safe.
Exactly.
But it's not his ideal scenario. He would love to know who you are and where you're at, and he'd love to come over there and get her back himself and do whatever needs to be done to you.
Get to Annie. You're milking it.
He's just closing his eyes and looking down and just... Man, I know it is just eating at him that they're even having to make this video.
Ooh, you pissing me off.
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
And you see that slow, I don't know if you caught it right at the end. She said, and we will pay. But when she says that, if you focus on him while she says we will pay, he does just ever so slightly, just the smallest nod. He just goes, never changing his expression the entire video, which that is a man who acknowledges that his ego, his pride, his masculinity, and what he wants to do and how he wants to handle this situation.
Annie,
he recognizes that
this is the only way we will.
When she's not looking down at the floor, which is
finally this mofo gonna talk about Annie. He milking the mofo out of this.
The majority of the time, she just looks directly into the camera.
About time you got to.
And there's no frown, there's no smile, there's no wrinkle of the brow. There's just nothing.
She look upset to me. Shit.
It's just a straight mouth expression. There's nothing.
What that mean?
And I can't
what that
come
mean?
out here and say, "Oh, Annie's got something to do with it," or she knows.
Well, what it mean then?
It's. I think we can agree, and I will feel awful if this turns out to be not true. But I think we can agree. It's just suspicious, and it's very odd, her behavior.
She look upset to me,
all things considered. Something is just off here. And, you take everything else into consideration. I mean, they kidnapped a woman, and they
But what? It's weird.
The 84-year-old woman, she's got a pacemaker. It disconnected. They didn't get her medication. Tommaso, her husband, Tommaso Ciano is the last one to see her. He's a guy who is very much into dark, heavy metal. He wants to be a heavy metal rock artist. And then the guy who got arrested is not far from them.
Anyway, this mofo is babbling like a motherfucker. Anyway, Tommaso is the husband of Annie. Okay, Annie's the one with the glasses on, who he's saying pretty much that she does not look upset, this, that, and the third. I love his channel, but I really don't agree with everything that he's saying. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe she does look a little suspicious. I do not know. But my whole thing in a nutshell, I'm looking at their financial situation. I don't think Annie has that great of a job. And Tommaso is evidently a school teacher. And I Googled that shit. This motherfucker only making $60,000 a year. How can you afford a house that's 11 minutes away from your mother-in-law and you only making $60,000 a year? And like I said, I don't think Annie is making that much more, if she's making that much more at all. Okay, so Nancy's home is over $1 million and something bucks. Okay, and I've said earlier, guys, I thought Savannah might have helped Nancy buy that house, but nothing is furthest from the truth. Nancy and her husband bought that house back in 1975. Okay, that was Nancy's house. She raised her children in that home. I'm sure Savannah has helped her upgrade some shit up in that camp, but that was Nancy's home. Okay, but now it's worth over $1 million and something bucks. How can two people, one being a school teacher and the other one not having such a great job either, meaning Annie and her husband Tommaso, how can they live only 11 minutes away from their mom? Evidently in this area where Nancy lives, I mean, it's a big monstrosity of homes that cost millions and millions of dollars. I can't see the neighborhood going to hell in a basket just going 11 minutes down the road. That's what I'm saying. How can they afford to live in close proximity where their mother lives according to their pay? Evidently, and this is just rumors, guys, nobody knows this shit. Evidently, they're saying that Tommaso and Annie have some type of debt. Okay. And that might be a motive as to why they might have, and I'm not even saying it might have been Tommaso by his damn self, who knows, that he kidnapped Nancy. He was the last one to see her. My whole thing in a nutshell, did he just drop her off at home and leave her there? And somebody came back, or maybe even he came back for that matter. This is weird. We're day 10, guys. Put it in the comments, guys. We're day 10. Do you think that she is still with us? Is she still alive? Guys, do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to this particular video on this particular YouTube channel. And do not forget to push that damn notification bell.
Let's get to Savannah Guthrie's
Break
updates.
It down.
I wanted to talk about this for like the whole weekend. I went on the news and spoke about it. But Savannah Guthrie's updates are very interesting. And I told you guys from the very beginning, and I'm not some oracle or anything, and I don't know if I'm 100% correct. But when I look and evaluate the totality of circumstance in this case, this does not look like a ransom to me.
What it look like?
If somebody wanted to do a ransom, they would directly communicate with the person they want the money from.
Boom.
I don't think they'll be putting it all out in the media. And if you want to get a ransom successfully, you would get it from somebody who's not as popular and beloved as Savannah Guthrie.
Boom.
Because immediately when the story hit the news, everybody's going to know. You're going to have people all over the world looking for you.
Exactly.
Or, at least the United States of America looking for you. Anything that's off, anything in the area. So you put a target on your back. And then the full weight of the United States government is behind this. You got to be either the dumbest extortionist.
Boom. There you go.
Or this is not what they try to make it look like it is.
What it is.
I'm not accusing anybody because I don't want to get sued. But the first prime suspect for me would be the brother-in-law.
Uh-oh.
The son-in-law.
Uh-oh.
That's the last people that seen her alive. The last people that dropped her off. She was in their possession before all this happens. I think that person is the lead person in the investigation.
Boom.
In my opinion. I don't think some random person went in their house and did this. And let me tell you why.
Break it down.
It's either completely random or it is calculated. If it's completely random, nobody would be in her house for 45 minutes plus, strategically planning anything. It's a random robbery gone bad. Therefore, there would be no trace. There would be no planning involved. It's random.
And that's exactly what I said, guys. I believe it's an inside job, guys, allegedly. Guys, this is all speculation. Just like he said, I ain't trying to get sued either. But somebody has been at her house before. Because you up in there smashing cameras and this, that, and the third. You up in the house for 45 minutes, whatever the case may be. You've been there before. Because let's just say you hadn't been there before. You smashing cameras. You don't know how many damn cameras she got to smash. You don't. You do not. Okay? And you there in the middle of the night. That neighborhood where Nancy stayed, they pride themselves on having no lights in the middle of the night, guys. They wanted it pitch black up in that camp. There's not one street light to be seen whatsoever. And so with that being said, guys, I'm sure if other people had cameras that time of night, I'm sure it would probably be hard for the cameras to capture a vehicle coming in and out of there. Okay? That neighborhood pride themselves on having their neighborhood pitch black at night, which set Nancy up to be a victim. That's what's going on right now. This shit is weird.
And we wouldn't have seen things transpire the way they have transpired, right? Random acts of violence, robberies gone bad, don't turn into a hostage / extortion situation. It just doesn't.
Exactly.
Because that takes planning. Now, if it's planned, then why would anybody pick Savannah Guthrie? You would pick a local person who's wealthy to do that to because you don't want a lot of public attention. You just want to get the money. If you pre-planned it, you would have taken all of her medication.
There you go.
And you would have made sure that she was alive and you would have showed proof of life so that you can actually get the money you're extorting for.
With no suspects and no leads, and faced with a demand for Bitcoin and a deadline today imposed by someone claiming to be her mother's kidnapper, Savannah Guthrie solemnly pledged to pay for Nancy Guthrie's return.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
It's ridiculous.
This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
The search has become a sensation for the public, but a private horror for the family.
We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home.
Bring her back, guys.
We miss you.
Come on,
Investigators have returned repeatedly to Annie Guthrie's home, where her mom enjoyed dinner and a Saturday game night before returning to her house a few minutes away.
Wow.
Investigators have also returned to Nancy Guthrie's home, examining rooftop cameras, towing a car, and inquiring of neighbors. This drone video capturing investigators examining what appears to be the septic tank on Guthrie's property. The sheriff's department said this remains an active and ongoing investigation. But after more than a week, investigators have not identified any suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles connected to this case. And as the investigation begins a second week now, Robin, the FBI is still offering a reward, but information is sparse.
Now, let me translate that for you as a former police officer.
Break it down.
They're not going to tell the public that they have a person of interest.
Exactly.
They're not going to tell the public that they have leads.
Exactly.
Because the person who's involved in this, they know what they did. And they don't know what the police know. So when you think that you've gotten away with it, or you think that the police are not on to you, you think your DNA is not on anything in the house.
There you go.
Then you'll become more careless and you will end up getting yourself.
Now let's talk about DNA. They did say that the blood droplets that were on the porch did go back to Nancy. It was definitely Nancy's blood. But if they are thinking, hypothetically, guys, and this is just allegations, if they are thinking that it is the brother-in-law been up in the house. So, of course, his DNA is going to be up in there. So how are we going to go about doing that? The brother-in-law's DNA, or shall I say son-in-law, keep saying son-in-law. When I say brother-in-law, guys, I'm talking about Savannah being the sister, and this is her brother-in-law, but it's Nancy's son-in-law. His DNA is up in that damn house. He been in that house. That's his mother-in-law. So how we gonna go about doing that?
Into a pickle, meaning that you think you covered it up enough that you will show up on television.
They know already.
And either act like you were a witness or maybe be somebody in the family.
Boom, there you go.
Because they think they did enough job to get away with it. But in fact, the police department, I told y'all this from the very beginning, I think the police department know exactly who did it.
So it is not surprising that someone in the family is being looked at. That language to me was pretty strident, though.
And I just want to say, and I'm not trying to make it about me at all. This is a very tragic situation. But I just want to make it a point that the very first day that I made a comment about this, I can go back and look at the video. You can go back and look at the video.
Boom.
I believe it was somebody in the family. Normally when people get killed like this or something like this happens, it's normally somebody that knows you.
There you go.
This person knew where the cameras were at, knew that the cameras existed.
Boom. This
person knew all of these things, allegedly. And then when you take somebody ransom, but you don't take their medication, which they're on life-threatening, could be life-threatening to them, you're not trying to get money. And you're not going to get any money unless you have proof of life. And I honestly think a family member was just sending these things out to divert attention, to buy time for them to find their getaway plan or whatever else they're trying to do.
Interesting.
This smelled weird from the very beginning. Now, I don't know. It could be somebody random. I don't know. But based on my training experience and based on the things that I see, I think it may have been somebody in the family. The brother-in-law or the son-in-law, to me, is the prime suspect if I was doing an investigation with the limited knowledge that I have.
Confirmed law enforcement is releasing new images of a possible subject in Nancy's disappearance. Authorities believe the 84-year-old was taken from her home against her will more than a week ago. Savannah and her siblings have made multiple emotional appeals. Confirmed law enforcement is releasing new images of a possible subject in Nancy's disappearance. Authorities believe the 84-year-old was taken from her home against her will more than a week ago. Savannah and her siblings have made multiple emotional appeals, even offered to pay for her safe return. A possible ransom deadline passed last night, though investigators haven't determined yet if the alleged ransom notes were real. And now these images are the first sign of a possible break in the case.
Good.
Let's get to ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky. Aaron, what do we know about these images so far?
They appear to come from the doorbell camera here at Nancy Guthrie's home that had been tampered with, according to the FBI. And if you look at these images that appear in black and white, Diane, you see an individual who appears to be wearing a backpack and a mask and gloves. And one of those images quite up close to the doorbell camera, the FBI says that is the individual tampering with the camera. The FBI says these images were previously inaccessible because the recording device had been taken, but working with the manufacturer, the FBI was able to recover these images. They are not characterizing the individual depicted in the image in any particular way, according to a message posted on social media by FBI Director Kash Patel. Previously, the FBI has said there are no suspects or persons of interest associated with Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. That now may be changing with the release of these images, though the FBI is not characterizing the individual depicted. You can see where the individual might be reaching close to the camera with a gloved hand to try and tamper with the camera before making entry. This was shortly before 2 a.m. at about 1:47 a.m. Mountain Time, according to a previous release timeline, Diane. And then at 2:12 a.m., a camera inside the house that was not set up to record images was able to detect an individual, an intruder, inside the house. And that's the window when police believe Nancy Guthrie was taken, Diane.
And I want to bring in retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, the FBI director is saying that these images came from back-end data. How does that process work, and how big is this finding?
Well, I think it's a huge finding. Your answer is how difficult it is. I think the short answer is it depends. But obviously, it took them several days working with, I assume, Amazon, who owns Ring, to come up with these images, but you don't have
come on audio shit
or characteristics of this picture.
Are you serious?
That I think are unique.
Brad, your audio is cutting out, so I'm going to go back to Aaron on that. Aaron, any more on how they got these images and what happens next?
We know, according to the sheriff, that they had been working with Google, which owns the Nest security system that Nancy Guthrie had installed. The statement from Director Patel does not specifically say which manufacturer, but that's what the sheriff had told us they were working with to try to recover these images on what the authorities say are the back-end systems. So even if the camera wasn't necessarily recording or the recording apparatus was removed, they were still able to recover the images, probably by working with the manufacturer and likely, Diane, with the help of a warrant. So the FBI didn't specifically say, and I'm sure they're not terribly keen to explain how they recovered these images, but they did, and they are now the most important clue that we have seen in the last 9 days. There have been few, if any, leads, no suspects, according to the authorities. And while the individual depicted in a mask and backpack and gloves is not characterized as a suspect, the authorities now have at least one image to go on.
And I want to bring
okay, how is this person not a suspect when this motherfucker is at her door in the middle of the night with a backpack, some gloves, and it looks like he's got a ski mask on? What the y'all be doing too much. Y'all be really doing too much. How is it that he is not a suspect when he was caught on the damn camera? Now y'all, some kind of way, some kind of trickery, y'all was able to recover that, and this person is not a suspect? Come on now. Y'all ripping y'all draws with this.
And retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Richard Frankel. Richard, how big is this development? How significant is this? And where does the investigation go from here?
Yeah, as Aaron just said, this is the biggest development of the investigation, in that they do have pictures now that, while not confirming she was taken, but confirming that there was a masked individual immediately before the time that she went missing. So, as you look at this investigation, it would lead me to believe that this was the person, at least, that was involved in some capacity
there you go.
in the abduction
Don't
of
play
Nancy
stupid
Guthrie.
on
and
us,
that's just, based upon my observation of what we're seeing. Also, it's hard to make out, is this a man? Is this a woman?
Look like a dude to me.
Anything more about that. But you can see the eyes. You can see a little bit of the mouth. There are also programs out there, AI-generated techniques that are available to the FBI and to other law enforcement, that they may be able to start getting more information about who this person is. They're going to be taking that picture and they're going to be putting it through every single configuration that they have of every database they have to see if there's anything more that they can get from this picture. They're also going to be looking at the clothing. They're going to be looking at everything associated with these pictures to see if there's anything more that can take them to the next lead.
Whoa.
But I think this is a great job by the FBI and by law enforcement. They did not just move on from prior leads. They kept working it just like they do on these major investigations, and they were able to come up with this evidence.